Some will tell you that since it is an enactment of the Parliament, it is as good as any other court. The others will tell you that no, since the Constitution did not mention IST, it only says other courts, that you cannot do that. And you know, with all apologies, my loyal friends, because the beauty of law is you can be on the other side. So if the pay is coming from the other argument, you take the other argument. And if the payment is from the other side, you also take the other side. But I think it's important, if we really want to achieve this master plan, is to find the right place for IST. The demutualization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange is also one of the initiatives in the master plan, and I think it's also one of the things that will propel us to move to that level, that expectations that we have for the master plan. On claim dividend, we don't think that the provision in KAMA that after 12 years, dividend should become a statute bad should be there. We think dividend should be in perpetuity as long as you can show evidence that you are actually the owner of that dividend. So there's a need to amend that section of KAMA. In our opinion, there's a need to also amend the Land Use Act, which has to do with foreclosure, because you can't do securitization without foreclosure. And crowdfunding is also an area that we think needed to be looked at. Commodity exchange, absence of robust regulatory framework for commodities trading. The Trustees Investment Act needs to be looked at. It's been there for ages. And the Investment and Securities Act. The Investment and Securities Act, the master plan recommends that there's a need for SEC to be very, very, very strong. That SEC, the leadership of SEC should be reporting to the president, just like how PENCOM and CBN does. The master plan also says, just like what happened in other jurisdictions, the chief executive of SEC should also be the chairman of the board. Because in most jurisdictions, the chief executive is also the chairman of that institution, just like how we have with central bank. And so we think there's a need to also look at that law and see how it can be adjusted. Passage of CIS bill, Chartered Institute of Securities and Investments. It's a bill that is aimed at enhancing the capacity in the capital market. As it is, only stockbrokers go through that process. But we think for us to be able to strengthen the market, there's a need for every stakeholder to also go through that process. I know at the last assembly, the bill has gone through second reading. And if my memory serves me right, this 7th assembly, I think there's a rule that has been passed that any bill or anything that has been passed by the previous assembly can be taken over by the next assembly. You don't need to start it. So if in the previous assembly a bill has gone to second reading, in the next assembly it can be taken that it has gone through second reading or third reading, so which will make it much faster. Now, these are some of the laws that, in our opinion, there's a need to look at them. But what have we done? SEC, as usual, have been very proactive institutions. We have set up 3 committees headed by some of the best lawyers that we have in this market. I remember the Senate President, when he was going, challenged us to come up with these laws and amendments that we have. SEC has already thought, ahead of it. We've already set up a committee to be chaired by Chief Anthony Itibe, SAN, and we look at the Investment and Securities Act, the Federal Compensation Bill, the Restrictive Trade, and all other laws. And they have 3 months to submit their report. It's a committee comprising 15 members. SEC is going to provide the secretariat, and because of our financial situation, we say they should try as much as possible to hold the meetings in Lagos. Because once SEC set up a committee, everybody will say, okay, we have to pay for our transportation and everything. We also set up the second committee to be chaired by Dr. Babatunde Ajibade, SAN. I'm told that it is better to forget calling somebody professor than not to add SAN. So Dr. Babatunde Ajibade, SAN, would also look at the warehousing bill. We need to address the warehousing bill if we really want our commodity exchange to really function. And for me, the solution to our commodity issue and mineral that this government is very keen on is the commodity exchanges, because that's the only platform that can provide the farmer, the needed true price of his commodities. They're also going to look at the Financial Reporting Council Act and the Pension Reform Act. The third committee, to be chaired by Mr. AIG-Imoukhuede, SAN, will look at the KAMA, the almighty KAMA, the Trustees Investment Act. And all these committees have been notified, and every member of that committee has also been informed. I expect this week or the following week they will begin to work, and they have 3 months to submit their report. Once, by next week, the Secretariat would start sending emails to all the stakeholders for your own opinion. And I believe as part of their work, they may probably do a public hearing or whatever. But we expect in the next 3 months for them to submit their reports. This is to show, ladies and gentlemen, that yes, even though we have identified some of the laws that are needed, but we have also taken a proactive measure in coming out with recommendation. Now, why are we talking about master plan? Why are we passionate about master plan? Why do we want the master plan to work? What are the benefits that will come out of it? As of today, the expected growth in our market size is about $72 billion. We expect by 2025, the growth will be in trillions of dollars. As of today, the number of listed companies is 191. We expect by 2025, we should have up to 1,000 listed companies. We expect our market capitalization to GDP to grow. As it is, it's 11%. We don't want to pick any number there, but we expect it to be very high. And more importantly, we expect to have more products in the market: derivatives, ETFs, rates, equity, mutual funds, commodities, crowdfunding, private equity, and what have you. These are the benefits that we think, if we jealously and passionately support the master plan, where we think this market would be. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, SEC is putting all energy, resources, and time into implementing the master plan for the development of our market. We welcome the excellent support so far received from the National Assembly and look forward to working together to tackle these legal challenges. In my opinion, this is the first time the National Assembly is bringing us together for a conference on capital market. As participants in the market, we therefore no longer have any excuse, since we have such a valuable opportunity. Opportunity comes only once. And they are the ones that said, let's sit down and talk. Tell us what you want us to do. The ball, therefore, is in our court. I hope, therefore, that we'll use this opportunity of direct interface with our esteemed legislators and openly explore all solutions to legal challenges facing us on this market. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much.
A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for the state of the market delivered by the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, MOUNIR GWARZO. We are running about 15 minutes to the top of the hour, so we'll quickly, therefore, invite the next speaker before the panel, mobilizing capital market financing for Nigeria's economic growth, and that will be delivered by Mrs. Elizabeth Uwaifo, who is a partner at Radix Legal and Consulting in the United Kingdom. Please step forward, Mrs. Uwaifo, for your presentation. You have 15 minutes.